Hello there, Saturday morning. Welcome to Prime Insights. What a pleasure to be with you again. As always, every Saturday morning, we dedicate that to hearing your ideas as we shape our nation forward. My name is Blessed Sugan, and what a pleasure to welcome you again onto the show. What we do basically is to look at all of the trending stories for the week. Topical ones, of course, while we dig into it by hearing your views, that of the in-studio audience, and also my panel for this morning. I will be telling you about those helping us to do the conversation this morning shortly, but I also have to give you an overview of how the week has been. So we know that President Ibrahim Mahama is off to Korea. Of course, it was a good trip for the president, knowing that he's now been given an honorary doctorate degree. But that travel was not without an incident. It also was fraught with some criticism of people now talking about his presidential travel, how and the style and the manner in which the president travels. Now the focus is on the president's use of his brother's jet, which is making waves across the country, with many asking that this is the time for us to expedite action on acquiring a presidential jet, as it states. The Falcon, which is there, the status of it and questions emerging, all of that has been featuring not just on social media, not just in Parliament, but also on the minds of many of you who are watching us this morning. So we'll break that down shortly and give you a sense of that. But we'll also be looking at issues relating to the recruitment exercise. Because look, we were all shocked about the figures. 500,000 individuals seeking jobs, recruitment into the security services. The shocking surprise is that, look, only 5,000 individuals will have the opportunity to serve. And that's where lots of questions have been emerging as to whether or not there should be a refund. Minority has been calling for that. Some leading members of the NDC also have been supporting that call as well. These are issues that we'll be exploring, and also looking at the bigger picture of unemployment in this country and how come there's that desperation on the part of our youth to join the security services. Then, of course, we're also being wowed by this whole 68 billion audit report, and what the report has been saying regarding some fraudulent claims that individuals have been making. So many calls for prosecution now that we would be looking at. So this morning, stay with us as we look at all of the issues, but I just want to share with you what Ghanaians have been saying about the presidential travels now that the president is on board his brother's jet, by now probably returning to the country. Lots of people sharing their views. We've been looking at some of them. Here are excerpts, and then we'll dig into the matters by hearing also from minority and majority positions in Parliament for you. So take a look. We'll be right back.
Men in opposition spoke so much and spoke so vehemently against the former president using commercial flights and then embarking on trips. The argument that was advanced then was the fact that our presidential jet was not serviceable. But they argued strenuously, and with the current foreign minister stating that the presidential jet was serviceable. Down the line, the president is found to be doing the very thing that they spoke against it. First, it's marks of conflict of interest. How will the president deny his brother an opportunity if the brother seeks to have the opportunity, in the bauxite, in our mineral interest or any interest in our downstream mineral? The president cannot deny the brother because the brother is extending favor one way. In the first place, the potential conflict of using a private person presidential jet for official trips is apparent and is just clear. It's so clear for everyone to see. And now you are not using just any private person, you are using the presidential jet of your brother. So the palpable conflict of interest is there. Yes, because you spell out some code of conduct for your officials. They shouldn't put yourself in a conflict situation. You are putting yourself right in the center of a conflict. So that is unethical, and I think that the president should have known better. There is no reason whatsoever. Even if there's the need for him to go, he could have gone on commercial flight. He can use business class. We want our president to be comfortable. But to go with your brother's flight, I will say with the greatest respect, the president has lost it, and it's actually a betrayal. The very same seems that they were blaming Nana Akufo-Addo for. They are repeating that in grand style.
The presidential jet has broken down a number of times, and indeed I can reveal to you freely that the communications squadron of the Ghana Air Force have written to government indicating that the frequent breakdown of the presidential jet raises safety issues, it raises cost issues, it raises issues of reliability, and affects operational efficiency. So they recommend to government to purchase a new one together with other aircraft for the Ghana Air Force. A new presidential jet is being procured. Now, in between the time that this aircraft has its procurement processes started and its delivery, the president needs to travel. The president says that, no, I have a brother who has an aircraft. So rather than taking the taxpayers' money to go and pay $18,000 an hour like President Akufo-Addo was doing, I will use my brother's jet so that it saves the taxpayers some money in the interim, pending the arrival of this aircraft. It pays for fuel. The pilots who pilot that aircraft are retained by his brother because they are in his employ. So he doesn't have to pay for that. Maybe there are landing charges that he may pay in the country that he goes. The state will bear that. Okay. But we don't rent the aircraft because the president charges that he may pay in the country that he goes. The state will bear that. How can any minority group say that they are worried because the president of Ghana is saving us money? How is that a problem?
There's nothing wrong with Mahama traveling with the brother's plane because the brother has been a businessman before Mahama has become a president. You see, and sometimes Asantini travel with Ibrahim Mahama's plane. Chief Imam, I know an MP who was sick, is it from a Baka or something like that, who was sick. They've used Ibrahim Mahama's plane to send him to abroad for a medical assistance. So for me personally, I don't think there's an issue with Mahama traveling with Ibrahim Mahama's plane.
I think it's good because with a private jet you have to pay. You understand? And for presidential, it has standards. So I think it's good. We shouldn't politicize this. We should just be Ghanaians and be wise about it.
I feel he wants to rather save money by using his brother's private jet. I don't see anything wrong with it. It's cost efficient.
The flight is for the brother, and it's his too. So there's nothing wrong.
The president, who under the previous government in opposition spoke so much and spoke so vehemently against.
From, of course, the streets of Accra, many sharing their comments and concerns over this matter. Some don't even see anything wrong with that. Let's start off by getting the views of my studio audience as well, because they've been also watching the mixed reactions to this. You feel the president should go ahead and use his brother's jet?
Shouldn't be entertaining something like this because the president is for the state. He's no more a family member or something. So if we are going to continue to allow president's brother to be giving him his jet, then at a point the president would say, okay, the presidential residence is not available, so let me use my brother's place. Before you realize, then everything is now coming from his brother. We shouldn't be entertaining this. What if the jet is even for the president and then the president is using his brother as a cover-up? So let's not be entertaining this. As a state, we should be able to provide for our president whatever he needs to make his work efficient. We shouldn't be entertaining getting other things from his brother.
Okay, and for you?
All right, so I think that I agree with my brother too here, because as a country, we should not create that perception among people. So what I ask myself is, what is Mahama's brother, which is Ibrahim Mahama, what is he getting from the jet that Mahama is using? At the end of
wait, when you're asking what is he getting?
Yes, because we all know he's a businessman. And, there's a perception outside that at least...
No, but you're asking what is he getting?
Yes.
I don't get your question.
So, what is he getting from...
I say, what is he benefiting from? Okay, right. Okay, I
get. Is he really getting something? It can be, no. But the perception outside them matters. So, I think that it should stop. If Ghana, we cannot afford anything, it is not for our president to go and then board his private jet. Ghana can afford anything for our president, and I'm sure that that's what we should go on with.
Okay, so even if his brother wants to do goodwill until we get a jet,
Ghana can afford that for our president.
I see. Right.
Good morning, Blessed. Personally, I think we should read in between the lines. This particular jet came into this week. Came into this country exactly a week before the president's travel. And the president was the first person to use this particular jet. We can read in between the lines. And as a state, we have to get our own presidential jet. The one there, the previous government was saying it's faulty and other things, but this current government, people or members of this current government were saying it's never faulty, it's fit for purpose. But now we can now see that this current jet is not fit for purpose, and then we need a new one. But the Awares are hunting them, and they cannot go and get a new one. Honorable Ablakwa made several claims that when the president travels with the private jet, he will resign. Because you make sure the president travels with the jet made for the presidency. If you get a presidential jet, a new one or whatever, I think new president will leave this country or will leave his presidency when his time is up and take the jet home. The jet will still belong to the state, and other presidents will come and use it. It's time for us to get a jet. But I think their West are hunting them. The West they were saying the opposition is currently hunting them, and they cannot go for a new one because they were saying that the country is not stable, the economy is not stable. That's why we cannot acquire a new jet. And currently, still, teachers are suffering. If you are even struggling to pick cocoa farmers, the Ghanaians are still suffering, so they cannot still go for a new jet, and then they are struggling. I believe in political honesty and accountability. Honorable Ablakwa should resign. If he believes in political accountability, then Honorable Ablakwa should resign because he made it clear to us that when the president, that's President John Mahama, travels with a private jet, he will resign. He will make sure the president will travel with the presidential jet. And we are now seeing different things all over. We are now seeing different things. It's not about the cost, but it's about security reasons, and it's about political accountability. Honorable Okudo Ablakwa should resign. Based on West.
Do you share the same view?
Yeah, I think that the president using his brother's presidential jet is cost effective. Yes, it is cost effective, and then I don't see anything wrong with it. So far as we've been told by the Minister for Communication for the government that the state only provides fuel for the jet and nothing else. I don't see anything wrong with that. And then with regards to what my brother said, he said that Honorable Okujato Ablakwa should resign because he said something when the NDC was in opposition that if the president use a presidential private jet, he will resign. The scenario is different as compared to what the MPP presidential candidate, the MPP, the President Nanado was doing. It was a burden on our nation as compared to this one. It's different.
So you feel that because there's no cost to it,
yes,
we shouldn't be worried?
Yes, there's nothing wrong with it, except that I want to make a point that today, if President Mahama, he is a president, he has a brother who has a presidential jet and he's using it. And me, I'm okay because it is not placed any burden on our state. Okay, so what of tomorrow if somebody becomes a president and he doesn't have a brother?
Yeah.
What will the person do? So I believe that if the current presidential jet is not in a pristine condition, we should make arrangement to buy a new one.
Okay.
Except that when arrangements are about to take for us to procure for a presidential jet, the opposition should be quiet.
Yeah. So you feel that it should not be a political thing. Yes. Yeah. Okay. You wanted to make an intervention quickly.
All right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just go ahead and now.
All right. So what I want to say is that for me, I don't see any issue about this issue that maybe Mahama shouldn't use his brother's private jets. It's a good idea, and I believe that the MPP as a political party have no moral right even to question these current governments using these private jets. And also, even when it comes to this issue, the thing is that they always use the state money to just get food and other stuff, right? So it saves money for this government to take over that things. Even my brother was saying that cocoa farmers and other stuff, we all see what is happening. Even that cocoa issue, is something is about global price rights. And the thing is that as for any party, they are trying to stabilize the price. It's not like maybe they are trying to do something that to affect cocoa farmers.
So for you, once we're saving a lot of cash,
in government, also we can also divert. And even saying that we should, it's making that Minister for Foreign Affairs, Dr. Ablaka, should resign. Me, I don't believe that because this man is a man of integrity and he always stands by his word. So there's no way that he can position that Ablaka should resign. Me, I don't actually agree with him. Yes.
All right. Yeah. Your quick intervention. So
I think the reason why I said we should let go of this President Mahama using his brother's jet is because you see Mahama came out with a code of conduct for
public officers.
Yes, all his appointees and public officers. And I think he's also in a public office. So what he's doing, I mean, the others are looking. What if at the end of the day, someone goes outside the country to do the same? Can he actually criticize or maybe penalize the person? Based on this, I think that he's a president of Ghana. Ghana can afford his travels anywhere.
You're making that point emphatically. You feel we can pay for a new jet? So, we can't afford. We can but you guys are not. You're not watching the kids.
Let me come in with what he said. I made a claim that Honorable Ablakwa should resign because he made a claim that he made a promise to a vow to us that when the president
rents a jet.
He didn't say rent. He uses a private jet.
Because
he made it clear that our presidential jet is in a pristine condition, and the president should use it.
Okay, I'll give you the opportunity to, you know what, just check his quotes so that the next time, by the time we're coming to you, you'll be sure of what the exact words he used. But let me just use that to say good morning to our panelists for this morning. I'll come back to you guys because I see that there's so much interest in this. Ivan J. Innocent is a youth activist. We have Solomon Owusu, Director of Communications for UP.
United Party.
United Party, okay. You like it when I say United Party, not UP, okay.
So a beautiful
because when I say UP, there's a temptation to add plus.
United Party. It's a beautiful party. The party for the future.
Solo, will you join the president to fly his brother's new baby, the jet, the private jet?
Why not? I mean, what is the question, the issue for determination? I have been listening to the brouhaha surrounding the whole matter, and it's much ado about nothing, honestly. So, as a country, do we have a functioning jet right now?
The Falcon is there, isn't it?
We are told by the Minister of Information at the presidency that they have been advised that the presidential jet is not usable. At least that's what I heard for now. I have not heard any contrary view from the squadron wing of the Ghana Air Force. They are in charge of our jets. And so to that extent, it means what the information minister, the information has put out there is the true position that the presidential jet is not usable. So the president is faced with two options. Right. As a country, he's faced with two options. It's either he's going to go by commercial flights, where he will join any other passenger to be traveling, doing transit here and there, to be working on behalf of Ghana. In fact, it's three options. Or to be renting jets, just like President Akufo-Addo was doing, or to abandon foreign trips. This is the decision faced by the country now. Now, if I were to ask...
I add number 4 to possibly buy a new one.
But they have ordered. I mean, it's also not true that the country has not ordered. We have ordered a presidential jet that should be ready by early next year.
As part of the
it included the presidential jet. So, as a country, you can decide to tell your president, look, Mr. President, because you don't have a usable jet, presidential jet, stay home. Don't go outside the country. That's an option. We voted for him. We can tell him stop traveling. Is that the position that those that are saying that he shouldn't go with the brothers' jet advancing? Secondly, is it the view or the position of those that are saying that he should stop using to advise him to be going by commercial flights? That is also another option. You understand? And the third one is the renting of the jets. Now you do the cost-benefit analysis and you do the security implications of all these scenarios that I've given you. Between using his brother's jet and going by commercial flight, which one as a country do we seem to see as being security tight?
Well, the views will vary, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're not in control of either of those flights.
So then I narrow it to my personal view.
Yeah.
First of all, the state must get his jet. Okay. I agree with those that says that he must not be using his brother's jet. And the emphasis, the caveat must be that if there is a jet for the state.
Okay, so that's the context within which we shouldn't allow.
We shouldn't allow.
Okay.
Because if the state has a jet sitting down, he has no business. I would have been the first person to call him out. But here is the case that the state is not having a jet. The second level of it.
But so how about the Falcon we sent for retrofitting, or is it repairs or something?
That's why I referenced the squadron.
That one is still not.
They say it's still not. I am waiting for, I'm not a technical person in that field. So we will need some express statement coming from the squadron to tell us the true state of the Falcon. Whether what the information minister said, I have no reason to doubt what the information minister put out there. But if it is that we had a functioning jet, then the argument, I agree entirely with those that are saying that it is needless to use your brother's jet. God, and the state has it. But that is not the situation we are dealing with right now. The state does not have it. The last time the president traveled to Japan, he was in this country. He went by a commercial flight. That was when he had to transit like 2 days in Dubai, with all its accompanying problems. Now we are told that the jet, he is not paying any rent for the jet. Once again, let's put issues in the right perspective. And I like my brother, I don't know whether since Kennedy lost the elections, he's still not come back home. But let's be fair to Opoku Acheampong. Opoku Acheampong's issue had to do with the rental or the renting of the jets and the amounts involved. So if on this occasion we are told that it's free of charge, what we are paying is the fuel. Between you going to, if you bought a commercial flight, you pay anyway. Between you paying and not paying, which one would you opt for?
But so how much fuel are we using? Because that would also provide some context.
No, because if you were renting the jet, remember when President Kuvado was renting the jet, he was buying fuel on. They would charge you,
and you pay for rent,
for landing rights, and so on and so forth. Now you are having to pay one out of, say, 3 cost components. So whichever you look at it, it's better.
Relatively speaking.
Relatively speaking.
Yeah.
And
how about security?
Security, if your brother would want you to die, between your brother and a commercial flight, that you don't even know the pilot, that you don't have any clue as to what they are thinking about, which one is security. And by the way,
Basolo, you travel, I mean, you know that once you buy your ticket, you are safe.
It's risk that we take.
Iran, US.
You know, there was this flight, is it Filipino flight or so, that the pilot decided to go around. I realized that all those that were in the flight, they didn't need to survive. Just ride them into some sea, and then that was it. But what I'm saying is that the most important is, as a country, must have our own jet. This must be seen as a temporary measure. And the president has explained through his communication or information minister that they have ordered the jet. So it's not as though steps have not been taken to remedy the situation. As when the jet will be ready depends on the manufacturers. But we have been told that by early next year, it should be ready. Now, when it comes and the president decides to still use his brother, that's where we have a problem.
So for now,
I mean, I don't see the hue and cry, except that, it's politics of equalization. That is what we have been treated ourselves to. And that is why every least opportunity, people want to make mountains out of nothing. I don't see this as a matter that, in any case, is Ibrahim Mahama charging the president. If he was not doing that, we can even be considering issues of conflict of interest. We can be considering those issues. And for me, it must be seen in that light. I don't see the big deal about it.
Let me bring in Ivan. Ivan, you've also been listening to the conversations online as well.
Yeah.
And of course, he's asking that the foreign minister should even resign because the president is now using the private jet.
Blessed, let me say good morning to you and to our cherished viewers. I think these are genuine political sentiment likely to be expressed when the president uses his brother's jet. It's normal.
But beneath this genuine political sentiment, a certain hostile mixture of unrelated questions beaming for a certain answers. And most of the answers are just quite raw. And for me, that is the problem. You see, if you're a Ghanaian and your president or your president is using his brother's jet, obviously or naturally, there are a lot of questions you might want to ask to ascertain what is actually involved in some of these, whether it is a deal, transaction, or whatever. Yeah. And I'm saying it is very legitimate, it's appropriate, but the questions that are being asked, sometimes is it the direction, the objective, and you don't even seek to understand the sort of answers people want to achieve at the end of the day. First of all, if I'm a Ghanaian and I'm asking such a question, my first concern will have to do with safety. This is a new jet. So is the president safe? These are legitimate because this is a new jet. You might be interested in asking whether it is equipped with all the distance that will be required to make our president safe. If you're asking these questions, it is very legitimate. You understand? Then back to the question of conflict of interest. Yeah. The conflict of interest comes in when the president is giving his or granting his brother a certain undue privileges. You understand? So as it stands now, President Mahama has been in power for 1 year. He's using his brother's jet. The question is, what are the benefits that his brother has gotten from him? Is there any? Can anybody pinpoint exact benefits? So no, the question of, they are talking about conflict of interest, because conflict of interest works in the two-way direction. I'm getting something from you, and because of that, you are granting me a certain undue advantage. You understand?
But I'm saying that that's his brother. He's a businessman.
Yeah, businessman, yes. Ibrahim has been doing his business from time immemorial, you understand? The question is that, under this current John Mahama administration, has he been given a specific contract or anything that will make people conclude that there is a conflict of interest in this particular regard? I am not privy to, if anybody is aware of any.
But Ivan, I'm saying that's his brother.
Yes, that is his brother.
The perception alone that you may give some more favor.
That is what I'm saying. It's a genuine political sentiment to be expressed, because you will be worried from the outlook. But I think Solo made quite some revelation that if you look at the context we find ourselves in, genuinely, there is a genuine situation that calls for certain intervention, because the falcon is not available. That is a documented fact. And there is this report on it that it's not even, it is an aging jet which is not, safe for some of the travels that we do. So that established, the question is, what option do we have? Do we have a jet? No. The president will have to fly commercial. And we are talking about cost saving, you understand? So in the interim, if he decides
but practically speaking, and again, Solo made that point too, but are you saying that it will be expensive to fly the president on a commercial jet?
Definitely, whichever way.
Comparing that to a private jet,
it will be less.
The amount of fuel you're going to buy.
That is why I agree with those who are asking that how much is involved in the fueling, because these are legitimate questions people should ask. I think the Minister of Communication should let people know how much fuel we are buying in order to settle this thing, so people will be able to do the comparative analysis. Flying commercial, flying this, which of them come at a cost to the state? You understand? These are genuine questions that we can ask, you understand? But the mere fact that there is a problem, interim, then we don't have a flight, and there is this one availability, there is an availability, which unfortunately or fortunately is for his brother. Yeah. Using it, has he been granted any undue advantage? When that is done, or when that is established, we can argue a strict question of conflict of interest, because we may say that the president is getting this from his brother, and as a result, he's giving him this. But as it stands now, the state doesn't have in the interim, and I am not expecting that by the end of this year or it's going to be a normal practice. You understand that? It is for a period. And that is why I am rationalizing within the peculiarity of the situation we find ourselves in now. Because if we were to have our jet or the Falcon is available and the president is flying his brother's jet, obviously we will condemn it. And again, we are also coming from a background of a certain experience that didn't go well with Ghanaians. Because in the past, President Akufo-Addo had issues, he said, with the Falcon, and we resorted to renting jets at $18,000 per hour.
But that was an option. Solo pointed to the options. You either rent, you either go commercial, you either...
Exactly. So those options are currently available to the president. He can decide to go and rent $18,000 per hour. But if you look at the current political terrain and the state of the economy, would it be reasonable for president to go and rent a jet at $18,000 per hour? That would be highly unreasonable. You understand? So my point is that because of where we are coming from and the experiences that we have had in the past, because we all subjected that particular decision by President Akufo-Addo to critical scrutiny, because some of us deemed it to be very unreasonable, especially taking into consideration the economic situation at the time. So for me, in the interim, if this thing is going to happen for a short period and because there is a need and availability of this particular situation, the president can use it for a time being, and all the questions surrounding it should be asked. If you're a Ghanaian and you're worried about any other question, and again, you see, I said, it is a hostile mixture of unrelated questions beaming for answers. See, people are worried about the fact that under President John Mahama, his brother has gone to buy a jet. So people have their own suspicion as to whether even the president is involved or to a certain extent. So this question is linked to the president using it. So it's a hostile mixture of several questions that people are asking.
But you see,
you understand?
So there was an instructive point from one of the audience, pointing out that, look, this is Ghana. This is a republic. This is a state. We can afford all of these things, and probably even renting one for the president.
Absolutely.
Just to do away with the perception. So why is the president not perhaps considering that to go for a rented jet, maybe?
No, as for rented jet, has to be.
And then we pay for it as a state, so we know we are paying.
So I agree with the gentleman that said that as a country we can afford. We have to be able to afford. If you give somebody a job, you must give the person tools to work with.
Yes.
But here is the thing. It's not as though we have not ordered for a jet.
A new one, right.
A new one has been ordered. And, buying of jets, it's not like buying of shirts that you enter the supermarket boutique and you immediately go and... It has to take some time for it to be manufactured. You understand? So we are in the manufacturing stage. Meanwhile, the president must travel. The president must travel. So if he is lucky, I think he's sheer luck. And let's also put this thing in perspective. I think when the new jet was being adored, Ibrahim Mahama jet, I followed it carefully because of what we do. Yeah. So that any commentary you pass on it, you are well grounded. Right. I think I saw, and I know the AFSA global group head, the chief executive of AFSA, I saw him in there. Subsequently, I was given the information through that he took a loan of $50 million. And he had to go to AFSA South Africa because in Ghana, when you go to the bank, there is something called the obligor limit. The obligor limit of AFSA Ghana cannot support 50 million. So if somebody goes to borrow his own money, and from what I gathered, it is going to be used. He has a mining company up north. So this is the thing. His workers will be flying from Accra to the mine site. Now, you have two options. Either you have some negotiation with these, hour and then passion.
Domestic flight.
Domestic flight, so that you'll be paying them. So you do the cost-benefit analysis. How many times would I be flying people to the WA? And how much would I be paying vis-a-vis if I decide to purchase one for myself? So that was the rationale behind Ibrahim going to buy the jet, not for luxury. You understand? So that it would be flying his staff to his mining site. If the country and the president is fortunate to have a brother who in this crucial time has a jet, that would save him the trouble of having to go through commercial flights or decide not to travel or decide to rent. The country must...
So today it's the president's brother. If it were to be someone else, and perhaps once the president sets in that precedent, someone else comes into power and does same, maybe with another businessman, not necessarily a brother, but a friend, maybe. Would you be okay with
that? So the caveat has been established. The assumption or the principle has been established that once the state has its jet fully functioning,
then there should be no room.
It shouldn't even cross anybody's mind. And that's why I asked the question, can anybody convince us? Because we are still seeking for answers. whether or not the state jet is functioning. And the president is deliberately abandoning that and then going with his brother. That one would be uncalled for. But as it is a known fact that our jet is non-functioning.
And so it shouldn't be a challenge. You're okay with that now?
I would say, has the president ever since he became the president?
Yeah, before he went for retrofitting, isn't it?
Before he has used it. Let me intervene.
Yeah.
He has used it in Kenya,
one of the Western
Tanzania, and so he has been with it.
He has been with the Falcon.
Yes.
But when he came to government, we saw him flying with commercial and other things. Was he comfortable flying commercial? If he was comfortable flying commercial, he didn't complain. We didn't see him complaining. And the cost benefit. Now we know the cost benefit of the fuel he's using. If he didn't complain using the commercial, we didn't hear him complaining that he went through stress or other things. We didn't hear him doing anything like that. So we believe if he didn't complain and was comfortable with flying with the commercial and the cost is lesser, then he's still going with the commercial.
Blessed. I think, you see, there is no comparative analysis that anybody can do and conclude that the president flying even commercial it's even less
less expensive.
Exactly, because the president.
But we are just assuming.
Yes.
Looking at fuel.
For now, we don't know the cost. For now, we don't know the cost of the fuel.
Because the president does not travel alone.
Absolutely.
He travels with the whole team.
Right.
So even if each of them, each of them is going to pay, and definitely that will come at a huge cost to the states. So what I'm saying is that, do we have a jet now? The answer is no. Then the options are either to go on high or to
buy a new one,
and then,
which will take time.
Yes, and the interim, there is an availability. You understand?
Yeah.
This whole arrangement between the president and his brother put the brother at a very disadvantageous position because he's a businessman. And as it stands now, Ibrahim cannot apply to do any job under this government. Do you know why? Because of some of these things. Because no privileges can be extended to him because of the services, for the fact that he's the president's brother alone knocks him out, but he's a business.
Yeah, but he's the president's brother.
Yeah, so you see, that is how disadvantageous it is.
It's not good to be a president's brother. So
that alone knocks him off.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
But you see,
so Ivan,
that alone knocks him off, and the fact that he has also given his jet completely takes him out because he cannot apply to do anything under this current.
So are you saying that the conflict will not arise because he's not gone for aid in favor?
Exactly. He's a private businessman until government decide to give him something. Then you can say, oh, this privileges have been extended to him.
Ivan? That
is why you are a journalist, and that is your job to do beneath that.
Are you saying?
You understand?
Is it your case or is it your point that Ibrahim is, as it were, trying to convince his brother with a jet?
To give him an offer?
Well, that's your brother.
No, your brother. So you mean that for Ibrahim to get anything under his brother's presidency, he must give him a jet, fly in a jet before he gets
before
it?
you give him anything.
No. That cannot be. That's the brother.
Yeah, that argument is weak.
And again, how about the principle we are establishing?
The principle is okay.
The principle is okay.
The state must be providing means of transport,
and it's not there for
it's
now.
Not there.
Yes, but I'm saying that the principle that you have a private individual funding our president's state's travel.
Yes.
Not necessarily funding it, but of course providing his vehicles.
No, it's funding. Yes, funding.
The principle you are establishing precedent. Someone else could do that.
Someone could do that,
but on a higher scale.
Absolutely. That is why we are saying that. So I started by giving you the options that we have as a country. He should go on commercial flight,
which you said is not safe.
It's safe for him. Yeah. And my brother was saying that he has not come out to complain. I don't think you expect the president to be coming out always to be complaining about issues that he is facing. No, that would be a mark of weak leader. You must always go through it. As a country, we citizens go through a lot of problems and then we keep it to ourselves. So the same way, he must be the person that must be absorbing every heat at any given time. But this is a peculiar situation we find ourselves that we must make a determination that you don't have it.
So you use the available one. Okay, let me put this to the two of you. Because I've seen two statements online, on social media that's making lots of waves. There's one from Manasseh Azuri, there's one from Franklin Kujo as well. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen the post from
I've seen that of Manasseh. I've not seen the...
Franklin Kujo is asking the president to, restrict himself to the guidelines he's giving to other appointees through the code of conduct that the president launched.
So
because he feels that using your brother's private jet will be a bit problematic, so the president would have to stop that.
So all of us on this table, if you have listened to the argument carefully, I do not support, and in fact I made that statement, that I do not support the president using his brother's jet. Beneath this whole thing is that there must be a functioning jet or means of transport. Now, under the current circumstance, where we find ourselves, we have three options. Go on a commercial flight. Is that what Franklin Kujo is suggesting? That he goes by commercial flight? He decides to abandon his travels? Is that what Franklin Kujo is suggesting? Or revert back to the status quo where they go and rent jets? These are the questions that we must throw back to Franklin Kujo. You cannot just...
That's where Manasseh's question will come in.
Yes.
That if this were to be the previous administration, where you have some known individuals closer to President Akufo-Addo, purchasing private jets and giving it to President Akufo-Addo to use, would the same standard be applied?
No, I mean, why not? If there's a circumstance like this, if there is no jet for the president and the president brother is giving it to him on free bono basis, why would I, as a country, remember that the long and short of what we do is to protect the public purse. You understand?
Yeah.
If the public purse is being protected, why would I have a problem? Why would I have a problem? But the point must be made that this is the situation we find ourselves. As a country, we should have seen this coming and prepared adequately by buying a presidential jet earlier enough. But we sat down and decided not to do it, and we have been caught by events of time. And that is why we are paying for it. It just happened that, what's the name? The president brother has a jet. Either and I would either go by renting the jet, which will be expensive to you and I.
So Franklin Kujo has no points then?
No, he has to answer the questions that I've given.
About the choices.
Which of the choices? Because you cannot just say it anyhow. You understand?
So you wouldn't have taken it easy on President Akufo-Addo?
No, President Akufo-Addo did a lot of things that some of us, you understand, believe that it has to be allowed to slide. You know, I was a communication member of the MPP. Yeah. I know the sort of things that I defended. I don't need to come and sit here and then be blowing my own. Yeah. Now, some of them were even indefensible, but I did. Because I knew at that time that it was the right thing. Today, from where I sit, you must be consistent. One thing with communication is that consistency. And today, whatever we say is on the internet.
Right. So we can just pull it back.
You can pull it back. Yeah. That what was your position yesterday was your position today. So tomorrow will be there for me. Yeah. And when we are faced with the same situation, and bearing in mind
that there must not be a state jet for the president.
That is it.
That's your caveat. Okay.
Yes, I think that the second question is very weak in scope. The question Manasseh. Yes, because you see.
You're saying that's a weak question?
Yes, it's weak in scope, like how the stand of the question, because the scenario are totally different. You understand? The comparison here is that at the time of President Akufo-Addo, we were renting a jet at a time the country was in economic mess, and the president had option. It was not as if the presidential jet at the time was not in good condition. At the time, Opoku had come for it and he was traveling with it, and our president was renting at a higher unreasonable cost. That was the reason why people criticized. So anybody who criticized the president at the time was legitimate in their questions, because some of the issues beneath or surrounding that particular renting and those kind of things didn't make sense at the time. And the situation now is different. You see, my point is that I am not...
President Akufo-Addo's situation, for instance.
Okay.
This is one man who's decided to rent a jet.
Okay.
Because in his case, he's not... Well, I don't want to use the word fortunate. Unfortunately for the president, at the time, he didn't have a brother who had a private jet.
Okay.
you're just confirming to us that someone else was in use of our jet, the presidential jet.
Yes.
So the three options you gave, you and Solo gave, was setting that he would have to. He has no.
No, you see, but the jet was available. The jet was available.
Someone else was using.
No,
but why would you give your jet to somebody?
Why would our country have a jet?
You hand it over to somebody.
The first priority is our president, and you rent it to another person.
Yeah, but you don't have evidence he rented.
No,
Opoku was using it,
but he didn't rent to him. Maybe.
Whatever, but he was using at the time.
So if it is free,
the thing is that so at that time the jet was in a pristine situation to be used. You understand? It was not as if
you're also using the word pristine.
Yeah, definitely, because if Opoku, who at the time was a president of a state, will be cleared to use it, it means that it was in a pristine situation or condition for the president to travel with it. You understand? So in this particular situation,
but I'm saying that the options you gave, it means that the president will be left with one.
Okay. So
either buy or you rent.
You see, people were not worried about the president renting a private jet, because if you go back to history, there are a number of presidents who have rented, how do you call it, private jet, and it did not ruffle the public. You understand? The outrageous costs attached to it per hour, that was what infuriated the people as against the prevailing economic situation at the time. You understand? So that was the main substance of the criticism at the time. And in this particular scenario, you see, the president has taken a jet from his brother. Those of us sitting here, I'm not in support of that. Because all things being equal, the president is not supposed to be using his brother's jet. That is the baseline argument we are making.
We all agree on that.
We all agree, because it raises a whole lot of genuine political sentiment, and in a situation where other people also have to question how the acquisition, blah blah blah, a whole lot of questions. Because if you listen to one of your studio audience, he raised a question as to whether even behind the scenes the president, who is the owner of it. But I think Solo has provided a certain perspective, because this is not the first time Ibrahim is buying a jet. He bought it some time ago. He has been using all this while, and he has done something that everybody has also decided to forgotten about it. I listened to him in one of his interviews, and he said the old jet has been given to the state for a medical emergency.
Yeah.
For me, that is another hell of this thing that has to be commended. You understand? But because of political.
The question of this guy comes in. What is he getting in return? Because this is just one benevolent individual who's been supporting.
So that's why I'm saying that it is your job and the people of this country to go behind the scenes and ask. If you bring up any exposure that all these things that Ibrahim is doing behind the scenes, that is what he's exactly. We will condemn. You understand? So until that is done,
we praise
because of the peculiarity of the situation created, we don't have the president is left with the option to go and hire or to go fly a commercial, considering all the scenarios available and the fact that the economy is not in good shape and we're just trying to manage the situation. If I were the president, I would definitely go for this particular option. But what I'm saying is that the cost involved in fueling must also be made public in order to kill some of these cynicism. Because if you create a vacuum, people will fill it with cynicism and you can't control it, and this is exactly what is happening.
Lawyer Kwesi Butchie Jr. is joining us this morning. Good morning to you. I'll come to you shortly. Briefly.
I will say that as a country, if Ibrahim has an expertise unique to him that he can offer to his brother, because he is the president and his brother, he cannot do it. Is that what we are saying? Is that how we are stretching the argument?
I'm not sure that's entirely the case. Okay, so I don't know if a Donald Trump example will be extreme. He has his own private, private aircraft.
Yes.
But he's not allowed, for instance, in the US.
But sometimes he uses it going on campaign.
He has been breaking protocol.
He has been using it.
By security protocol.
But he has been using it.
Yes.
You see, let's establish
he has been breaking protocols.
In fact, he's supposed to be living in Washington. He goes to Mar-a-Lago, sometimes weekends, and you see, some of these things, you must not...
Yeah, but the president can move anywhere he wants to.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that using the aircraft, I'm restricting it.
The country must go get its own jets. It's as simple.
So you see, the only concern with this thing is the conflict of interest. You understand?
That concern. And you are saying that we have evidence. We do.
Exactly. It's a genuine political sentiment to be expressed. Right. But if there is any clue that justify the fact that certain undue privileges are being extended to Ibrahim,
that thing be taken
this thing should be taken
that's
as a
why I'm
good
bringing
gesture.
up the constitutional or perhaps legal construction of what conflict of interest
is.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's why I'm bringing.
So what's the interest of?
Is it that do we need the evidence? Is that what the law says? Because my appreciation of the law may not necessarily be that
You have to have the evidence, but just on the face of it.
On the
yes, but because once it has been made public, I think disclosure is some of these things, because the disclosure kills all these things, because behind the scenes,
you tell people.
Exactly, and it's quite obvious.
Okay, Lawyer Kwesi Boche, good morning to you. Welcome.
Good morning, brother.
Yeah, so here we are. The president obviously doesn't have a choice from the analysis of Solo and Ivan. So, well, if his brother is available to help, we go with that.
You have to pay for late fee.
Good morning, my dear brother. Good morning to my colleagues. Good morning to our wonderful studio audience. And good morning to everybody watching us. On my way, I was monitoring the conversation.
Oh, you were listening?
Yeah, I was listening. I was. Your producer shared the link with me, so I was connected. You see, it's important we situate this conversation in a particular perspective. I do not have any problems with the president's brother owning a private jet. It is his bona fide. He has the right to own any property that he wishes to own. But this is the case of the president of the land using a private property of his brother. And today it looks as if many voices that are expected to be, to be speaking conscience to the president is today trying to rationalize what is happening today. What is happening today is not proper. It is not proper. Simple as that.
Which one is not proper?
The president using his brother's private jet. My dear brother, Innocent, tries to justify it to say that there has to be evidence of conflict of interest. Yeah. My dear brother, Sharjah has established in so many cases that conflict of interest can be perceived. The fact that there is an apparent or potential issue of conflict of interest, there is conflict of interest. Please, do you get my point? Then he also makes the point that the president's brother hasn't gotten anything, and so we cannot conclude that there is conflict of interest. If you care to know, Solo made a very important point that the purpose of the private jet is to fly the president's brother's workers up north to, visit their mining concession. Let's ask ourselves, when did the president's brother acquire that concession? When did he acquire it? He acquired the Blackwater project concession just about 3 months ago, under the presidency of his brother.
So does it not meet the time? No.
Under the presidency of his brother. You see,
how did he acquire?
I have heard conversations that the processes of the acquisition.
Yeah, but that mine you're talking about, hold
on. I'm making a point. I have heard conversations that the processes of the acquisition between engineers and planners, the president's brother's company,
predates,
and the owners of Azuma. In fact, we were in this country when Azuma issued about 4 or 5 different statements. I have had the privilege of engaging the owners of Azuma, because we were almost signing them as our clients. But there were so many problems and technical issues with the matter, and so many political issues as well. And so, being a political figure also, our firm decided not to, take up.
No, I get that.
Absolutely. But the point I'm making is that. But the point I'm making is that.
The
point I'm making is that, in as much as the processes of the acquisition, or there was a conversation
way before
conversation surrounding the potential takeover of the mines. The actual takeover of the mine happened just 3 months ago. That is the point I'm making, and that is a fact.
Oh, no, but okay, counsel.
That is a fact. Is that a fact or that is not a fact?
I get your point.
That is a fact.
But I'm saying that you honestly believe that you could just walk in and acquire a mine in a space of 3 months or less.
The point I'm making is that,
do you know, practically speaking, can that happen?
No, you see, they didn't acquire the mine from the government.
I know that, but I'm just saying.
They acquired. Oh, I was quiet.
Yeah, Kwesi, I get you. Yeah, no, but it's because of I'll allow you. Yeah, I'll allow you. But I'm just asking. I'm just asking you a question because I have to ask you questions here.
I have made the point.
From a B2B basis.
No, I have made the point that the conversation surrounding the takeover, we have been told, started somewhere in 2024.
Yeah, right.
But the point I'm making is that the actual takeover took place 3 months ago. That is the point I'm making. But from any other conversation that happened, the actual takeover took place when the president's brother was the president of this, or is the president of this country. again, the president's brother, now we are being told, has been given the concession to the Sankofa gold mines. Now
you
we
mean
are being
the mine, or which one?
the Sankofa gold project.
Okay, well, I don't.
Now we are being
know
told that the president's brother's company is the company in charge of the Sankofa gold project. And so if innocent is asking that has the president's brother gotten anything, these are the few things that the public is aware of. Maybe there are so many other things.
Would you
I think maybe the public may not be aware of, but this is what the public, has been made aware of. So my second point, Innocent talks about disclosure.
Yes.
On record, the presidency or the government of the day did not disclose that President Mahama was going to use his brother's private jet for his official travels. We all saw it in the videos and the pictures that were posted. So there hasn't been any disclosure from anybody. And so it flaws the point to justify as to whether or not the issues of conflict of interest arises. You understand my point? Nobody has disclosed anything. It was our dear young people on TikTok and Twitter who started raising the conversation and the issues that why is the president using his brother's brand new $70 million acquired private jet?
How do you know it's 70 million?
Oh, the issue is in the public domain. Now, my third point.
Yeah.
You see, I do not have any issue again that the president's brother has acquired a private. The president's brother can have all the money in the world. I do not have any problem with it. But why is it the case that any time his brother is a president, number one, number two, any time the government of the day is in the processes of acquiring helicopters or a presidential jet, or let me put all together, aircraft, that is when President Mahama's brother also acquires his private jet. Is it just mere coincidence? These are questions I'm asking. These are questions that Ghanaians are asking because in 2012, President Mahama's brother acquired his Jata number 1. And in that same 2012, you are aware. Let me make the point, please, Solo. Please write it down.
He's just asking.
Let him write it down. No, you shouldn't wield the power to Solo to ask questions. Who is the host here?
Just go ahead.
Or is he your co-host? Are you working with him?
I mean, you come up.
So if you wield the power to him to ask questions, it's improper.
We're not wielding power to him.
The people around this table, the people, all of us around this table, it is only one person clothed with the power to ask questions, and that is you. So if you want to reserve your right to Solo, that is fine. The way Solo is also speaking, I also reserve the right to ask him questions. If that is how you want to moderate your show, then that is fair.
So this is a conversation. And in every conversation, you should allow for exchanges, right? There should be dialogue.
So are you now making the ground rule that panel members are entitled to ask for
it's not against.
I haven't done that. I haven't done that.
So
that's fair. That's fair. No. Just go ahead.
I will never ask you any question.
Okay, let's hear you.
I will never ask you any question in my life. Don't worry.
So I can give you my pen. Write your point. Allow me. When you do that, you try to distract my thought. And it's a deliberate tactic. We've all been in this game for a while. But the point is that the point I'm making is that the president's brother acquired his first jet in 2012.
Yes.
As at that time, government of Ghana was in talks with some other partners to acquire aircraft for the Ghana Armed Forces. Martin Amidu, we all know, was the Attorney General of the realm at that time. Tells us that President Mahama, President Mills, wanted his vice president investigated for issues relating to the purchase of the aircraft for the armed forces.
Right.
Martin Amidu goes ahead to tell us that there was actually a committee set up. And the members of the committee are, in fact, this is a matter of public knowledge. All of you can Google on your phones and also follow the conversation. The members of the committee were Mr. William Abwa, Mr. George Amwa, and Brigadier General Alote as secretary to the committee. And the mandate of this committee was to investigate these three things. With your permission, I'll just read briefly what Martin Amidu said. This is Martin Amidu speaking. The terms of reference of the committee, as I was instructed and drafted them for the late president were to investigate the processes adopted in selecting, negotiating, and agreeing on the acquisition of the aircraft, to investigate the competitive advantage, prices of the aircraft, and the level of economic and financial due diligence conducted by relevant agencies in the process of the acquisition of the aircraft, and I, to investigate any other matter that, in the opinion of the committee, is reasonably related to the foregoing terms of reference.
So
this means the point is that during the purchase of aircraft for the Ghana Armed Forces, which purchase was led by then Vice President Mahama, his president or his boss, President Mills, as the Attorney General is making us believe, wanted the Vice President investigated on grounds of overpricing and other issues.
Between a government-led, no, I mean, I have to ask you the questions. Between a government-led committee and the findings of a special prosecutor, which one would you believe? Or take more?
No, this is the Attorney General telling us
at the
that,
time.
Yes,
he left office subsequently.
Yes, but this is the Attorney General at the time.
Yes, I'm saying
telling us that the president wanted his Vice President investigated regarding issues of the purchase.
I know.
Of the
I'm asking you a question.
Aircraft.
That if you have an independent institution such as the special prosecutor and a government-led committee,
I'll answer your question.
I'll answer your question. The reason why I'm asking you
I'll answer your question. Let me just make the point out of it. Out of this.
You made the point. That's why I'm
I've not made the point. I've not made the point yet. So the point I'm making is that the president wanted his Vice President Mahama investigated for overpricing the aircraft, which was supposed to be purchased for the armed forces. At that same material time, in the same year in 2012, we are being told that the president's brother acquired his first private jet. This is circumstantial analysis.
I know, but
number two, if you allow me to land.
No, but I have to ask the question.
If you allow me to land, then you can ask your question.
The whole day. Subsequently.
No, but allow me to land. You're not allowing me to make my point.
I'll give you the time. I'm saying that, Kwesi, that the 2012 point you're raising, that 2012 process was concluded years after by the special prosecutor. Two of them. In fact, the former Attorney General you're referring to, the Honorable Martin Amidu, also, he commenced the process, and the investigation was concluded by the second special prosecutor, clearing the president.
Is it true or not true that Martin Amidu alleged that a committee was set up to investigate?
Yeah, I'm saying that process concluded with the special prosecutor's investigation. So how do we?
No, the special prosecutor's investigation had to do with Airbus.
Yes.
The issues of Airbus and whether or not
there were underhandings and all.
But the point I'm making is that the president of the day, President Mills, wanted his Vice President investigated.
But
if there weren't sufficient grounds, at the time that the president, for the president to believe that his Vice President was innocent, I'm not sure that the president will go ahead to set up a committee to investigate. So I'm only saying, I am not alleging criminality or anything. I am only saying that when Ghana was in the processes of acquiring aircraft for the armed forces, in the first, during NDC's era in 2012, the president's brother also acquired his first private jet in the same year.
You're right.
And today, we are being told that Parliament has granted clearance for Ghana to acquire about an $80 million presidential jet. And today, again, we are being told that the president's brother has acquired his Jata number 2, his private jet number 2.
So where's the impropriety?
So I'm not alleging any impropriety. Please don't put words in my mouth, kindly. If you want to allege impropriety, you have the opportunity to do so, but don't put words in my mouth.
So what's the point?
But the point I'm making is that why is it the case? Ghanaians are asking questions. If you go on social media, people are asking questions. That why is it the case that the president's brother, who we are all made to believe that is very, very wealthy and very, very rich, which we respect him for that, is an accomplished businessman, is only able to purchase private jets when his brother is a president, and number 2, when the government of the day is in the processes of acquiring aircraft for the nation. People are asking those questions, and I think they are legitimate and valid questions. Now, the third point I want to make, or the fourth point I want to make on this private jet issue is that we are all aware that the president has set out code of conduct for his appointees, including himself. The president himself signed the code of conduct, and so he's bound by it. If you read the code of conduct, the president is clear that no minister or appointee of his government has the right to accept a gift worth more than 20,000 Ghana cedis. Fair. Now, we are making a point that the government of the day only pays for the fuel of the Jata aircraft. How much would it have cost government if government was renting the aircraft? Would it be more than 20,000 cedis? If yes, then the president has breached his own code of conduct.
Oh, really?
Yes. Because it's a gift. Is that not the case? Is the Jata jet, is the president not using it by the fact that his brother owns it, and so it can be construed as his brother has gifted it to him.
Is that a gift?
For
others use the
hold on. Not gift for life, but using it for that very time frame.
Is
you
that
understand?
A gift? Is that a different?
Oh, I can construe it as a gift.
That's a gift?
Yeah, that is my understanding.
Because others use the same facility.
I have not seen anybody use the new Jata jet.
Oh, but
have you seen anybody use the?
But the owner himself has used it.
And I'm saying that apart from the owner, have you seen any other person use the brand new Jata jet? You can correct
owner
me.
Himself has used it.
And I'm saying apart from the owner.
If I give you my,
apart from the owner, have you seen any other person use the Jata private jet?
You're calling it a private jet, isn't it? It's private.
But I thought you were...
But I'm asking you a question. You said other people use it. And I'm asking you directly that aside the owner of the private jet or the person that we are all, being told that he bought the private, aside him, have you seen any other person use it?
But they use it.
So the point is that the president is using a jet that, in actual fact, cost more than the 20,000 cedis threshold.
But that's not a gift, in
his code.
Because the owner himself is on record to
both of us do not know whether or not it's a gift. Both of us do not know.
The owner is on record to have said what he would do with his first private jet and what the second one would mean. Because people asked him a question. He says the other one would be...
Even with that, with what my brother Innocent says is partially inaccurate.
No, but I just want us to clear that off. You agree that it's not a gift?
I don't agree that it's not a gift. I'm saying that there's reasonable grounds to believe, because aside the owner of the private jet uses it, we've not seen any other person use it other than his brother.
If I buy you, say,
other than his brother,
Innocent's type of iPhone,
I think
I give that to you.
I think that the president's use of his brother's jet is shrouded in too much secrecy. There needs to be some level of transparency.
All right.
We need to know the amount of fuel that is being used.
Yes.
We need to know what has gone into the processes of the president's brother, gifting or giving his private jet.
But it's not a gift.
Do you know for a fact that it's not a gift?
But there's someone claiming ownership to the private jet, Ibrahim Mahama, isn't it?
That's fine.
Yeah, so you understand
that's
that
fine.
clearly.
But we do not know why his brother is using it.
So why is it?
So has he rented it to his brother, or is his brother using it out of courtesy, or what? Why is his brother using it?
Okay, I just wanted to go online to bring in an apple.
You interjected me 28. I was noting, or you interjected me 20. On my way here, you allowed Follow and Innocent to flow. So when you do this, it's not proper. When you do this, it's not proper. Things like this are not proper. Sincerely, things like this are not proper. You interjected me 28 times. Everybody's watching. Somebody just sent me a message that you interjected me 28 times.
It's fine.
Why do you do this?
The advertised time for the program was 7 a.m. If you were here, you would have got...
So you are interjecting me because I go here?
No, not because of time.
No, is that the point you are trying to make?
No, I'll give you the time. Don't worry, Kwesi. I'll give you the time. Okay, Nana Opoku, you've been listening to us. Just come through. Let's hear you on this. I'll come back to the resting studio because this is an interesting matter. You were advocating earlier that, we should acquire ours. This brewing into a whole controversy now. Yeah. Nana, I hope you can hear me. Okay, we seem to be having a challenge. Ivan, you had wanted to...
Yes, I think
we need to close the chapter on this. Time is fast.
I think there has been a lot of cynical assumptions from my brother, and he was not able to conclude on exact kind of something that a Ghanaian should be worried about in the face of this whole arrangement between the president and his brother. In a normal day, I'm saying that if you're a Ghanaian, definitely you'll be worried. But because of the exigency of the situation, call for some of this intervention for the interim. So it's not some sort of a permanent arrangement that a Ghanaian will have to accept and say, hey, henceforth the president will be using his brother's jet. And again, he made quite an interesting point that the president's brother always buys a jet when the NDC is in power. You see, when I started, I told you that beneath this conversation is a certain hostile mixture of unrelated this thing that people want to use to justify this thing. If, let's say, Ibrahim Mahama used shady means to acquire his first jet in 2012, the MPP was in power for 8 good years. Why didn't they investigate him? And again, another thing about this new private jet is that, you see, do you know how long it takes to acquire a private jet if it is new? You take about 18 to almost 35 months to acquire. So what it means is that if this particular private jet is new and Ibrahim Mahama went for it, made an order, he He might have done it long ago, even before his brother came to power.
He says the president was under investigation back in 2012. Right?
And what happened? I don't know if you want to dabble into those trivialities, because you see, they've been in power for 8 good years. At the time, let's say President Mahama did something wrong. What did they use the entire 8 years to do? Because the Airbus accusations were even cleared by the special prosecutor appointed by the president. You understand? So you see, that's why I'm saying that some of these feckless assumptions will not rationalize this whole thing. Ghanaians are concerned because we are a failed state. Because at this point in time, we should have our private jet. The president should have a jet. So we have failed as a country over the years. And ask yourself, when we were sinking monies into those senseless enterprises in recent times, like the National Cathedral, couldn't we have used that particular money for something reasonable? Maybe. If those monies are available, the president wouldn't be going for the private jet or his brother's jet. You understand that?
He says conflict arises.
I am saying that we are in a desperate situation because people decided to recklessly mismanage the resources of the country, pump state money into senseless enterprises, financing individual personal urges and stuff. You understand?
Okay.
The state pursued perverted priorities, and we are in this particular situation. So you understand? I am not seeking to justify what is happening. For me, it is unfortunate.
Okay.
But the exigency of the situation call for this particular thing. But if anybody has any concern about the fact that Ibrahim Mahama jet was illicitly acquired, I think he's open to investigation. He's a Ghanaian. He's not above the law, you understand? Okay. But beneath that, we cannot sit on platforms and build castles of assumptions in a bit to justify some of these things.
Okay.
You can't rationalize it.
So 30 seconds so I can go to Nana Opoku online and then come back.
I mean, so the matters have been dealt with. I believe that under the circumstance, is the right thing to do to save the public purse.
Okay, great. Nana Opoku, good morning. So where do we go from here?
Good morning.
Yeah, are you the traders going to contribute some money now? Let's buy a new jet for the president.
Oh no! We applaud Ibrahim for
really
saving his brothers, movements and everything.
Oh, then you should give your money, the money you're contributing. You should give that to me, Nana.
Yeah, let me extend my greetings to the panel, especially Solo and Ivan and the other brother. Look, it's only Ghana that we have witches and wizards. That if somebody is making money and living luxuriously, we go after such people. The issue at stake should be dealt with wisdom. If you were to be John Mahama's brother, you would do same. If you think Mr. Jatta or Mr. Ibrahim is making money and you don't understand, try and make money and see. You do worse than what he is doing.
But
people
wait,
don't understand, especially.
But Nana Opoku, is that what's before us today? Before us today is the issue of conflict of interest. That it's not got to do with who has money.
Where is the conflict?
Yeah.
And where is the interest? Look, if Mr. John Mahama were to be your brother, wouldn't you do the same thing for him?
Yeah, but there are rules and regulations that many are calling into questions now.
This is common sense. His person, need to be protected. It's only Ghana that when you are a president and you can't enjoy luxury, do business and see.
Okay, but looking at the economic condition,
take it off business class when he's traveling.
I'll grab it.
What is this?
But
this shouldn't be a discussion. We have we have issues that we should be discussing. We should be talking about.
Okay, Nana. So as long as the president wants, you feel he should continue using this?
Oh yes. He should enjoy it as president of the land, because as individuals, I can easily go to Solo and ask Solo, give me your land cruiser. I'll fuel it and go to Kumasi with it. Is it wrong? And Solo would definitely do so for me if I have
Solo,
a very good rapport with him.
Yeah, Solo is the communications director.
Not to talk about a brother.
Nana, Solo is the communications director for UP, United Party. He's not a government appointee, so you're free to go for his car.
No, I'm also part of United, you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you are okay. Yeah, so you're brothers. I mean, you can go for his because you're not serving in government, is it?
Why do you understand? He's making a point.
See, this issue is nothing to discuss.
Oh my goodness.
Please allow Ivan and Solo to talk about issues that is actually pitching the nation.
Okay.
Not a brother saving a brother. If I were the president, what? I will use it every day and every time.
Okay, Nana Opoku, what you...
It's only Ghana.
Yeah, I get that. What you seem to be doing now is to spite many viewers who are asking questions now. So let's move then to the issues that you're talking about.
No, why should we ask questions? Why is Ghana like this?
Yeah, but this...
So I shouldn't be a rich man one day and buy a private jet one day. Forget about his brother being a president. The guy is a multi-millionaire. Whether where he's getting his money, if people think his money is not legit, Iyoko should investigate him and it will go to nothing. You know how much money people have in the country?
Okay, Nana, grateful for your intervention. So here's what we'll do. Let me listen to Kwesi Bocho again. And then we deal with the security.
My dear brother, you see, to be very sincere with you, one of the major challenges we have in this country is sycophants masquerading themselves as neutrals. It's one of the biggest challenges we have in this country. Because when such neutrals speak, or when such sycophants speak, or when such characters speak, you are unable to address them as political actors or as neutrals. You addressed the man who spoke, you addressed him as a trade union.
You mean, yes.
Look at how he was speaking.
No, but he's saying his favors.
Please.
He said his favors.
No, you can have the opportunity.
No, you can't.
You can have the opportunity. You can have the opportunity. Please.
You cannot describe.
To describe people criticizing this act as witches and wizards. What kind of analysis is this? And to discuss that and to say that it is somebody is pained because Ibrahim Mahama is enjoying. Who has spoken about Ibrahim Mahama's money here? We are talking about critical issues. We are questioning as to whether or not the other persons, the ministers joining the president for his official travels, would be compromised by this singular act of the president's brother. In what position would they be if the president's brother tomorrow comes to them for a favor? They are already compromised. That is the kind of issue we are talking about. We are talking about serious issues, and you come here to say that somebody is paying because the president's brother
have you done business before?
The president's money. Please,
have you worked for
those things are improper. With all due respect, with the greatest of respect to you, sir.
No,
your analysis is terrible and it is very weak. No, your analysis is very weak. With all due respect, but at least expect that I don't expect you to agree with me. In all fairness, I don't expect you to. No, in all fairness, I don't expect you. In all fairness, I don't expect you to agree with me.
No, it's
but
wrong.
My dear brother, but the point and to describe persons criticizing this act as witches and wizards is nothing. But a clear demonstration of sycophancy with the greatest of respect. It is a clear demonstration of sycophancy.
Now let's move on to the point. Now let's move on. We need to move to the security recruitment. So just land for me.
So the point I'm making is that we need proper communication from the government. There needs to be transparency.
Okay.
There needs to be a certain form of guidelines. We cannot do this to ourselves. Because if today it is President Mahama, tomorrow Sami Jemfi may wake up and say that his very good friend is Richard Niamakwe and needs to attend an urgent business meeting at Dubai with the Qataris for a good deal or whatsoever. And so we need Richard Niamakwe's private jet. Would we have the audacity to question it? because the government of the day doesn't have a private jet or because the country doesn't have a private jet. And so are we saying that ministers and chief executive officers and appointees of the government are now at liberty to use private jets belonging to their friends and family? Is that what we are trying to say? These are very critical issues.
Are you comparing the same
thing? These are very critical issues that I think that needs to be addressed.
Are you comparing a CEO? Are you comparing a CEO to the president of the land?
To conclude, I think that the Falcon, the presidential jet, is in excellent condition. They recently took it to France for maintenance. It is back. It is in excellent condition. They should use the Falcon. If it was in pristine conditions 4 months to election 2024, and after election 2024, it's gone for about 10 months of maintenance. The Falcon is in pristine condition.
Okay, I've spoken to Dominic Nitio, who's a former defense minister. He says that generally there's a problem with that craft. We agree, right?
Absolutely. We all agree that the aircraft is aging. We all agree that President Kufuor bought it years ago. But the aircraft, again, is in the capacity to transport the president.
Wow. Okay.
It's not in the capacity. Why would you allow him to better this or obvious on truth and then get away with it? It's not in pristine condition.
Nana, let's do this. Please, no banter. 20 seconds. Just wrap up this matter for me. Let me deal with the security recruitment issues.
No. Let me. Am I on?
Yeah. You're with us briefly. To just 30 seconds.
Let me address this guy. He's just a young guy who have not worked.
No, it is not about young man. It is not about young man. It is not about who is a young man and who is a young man. You are one of the reasons why the youth of this country are not going on. You people are always looking down on young people. You people are always looking down on young people. But you haven't been able to make any logical analysis about this issue. It is not a matter of old age and young age. That is not the issue. That is not the issue here.
Yeah. Let me start with you, gentlemen. Yes. Let's talk about Nana.
Come and sit in the studio here and say all the things you want to say.
Nana, let's close the chapter on this.